Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the MedTech Show.
What's up? Just moving things. Go ahead, Ethan.
No worries.
Hey.
We're your hosts, Ben and Ethan, and we are excited to bring you another episode of the show tonight. We've got a great show lined up for you, so we'll go ahead and get started. Something that I saw today that was a bit of a hot take. I'm going to start off with a hot take.
I love me some hot takes.
Okay. So the hot take is there's going to be an EV market crash.
Whoa. Tell me why.
So, as we know, we're kind of in an interesting spot in our economy right now. Interest rates are extremely high. Um, the argument is that there is going to be an EV market crash is because EV sales have slowed down and automakers are pulling back production um, of producing them, and they can't move inventory. I kind of think that this is a bad hot take, and here's my reason why. Um, I don't think it's just EVs that are slowing down in sales. I think it's all auto sales, mostly just because of the high interest rates, and um, people just aren't spending as much money. If you look at uh, Tesla, I mean, this year they had record-breaking deliveries and sales, and so even with this alleged theory, they seem to be doing just fine. I do know that Rivian has kind of missed their delivery expectations for the year, but um, they produced more vehicles than they had originally planned. So there's some upside there, but I I think it's a bad hot take. I think EVs are still going to be able to move, but I think some of these automakers like Ford and GM may have trouble moving EVs because they don't know how to make them, and they are terrible at making EVs. Just my thoughts. That's one man's opinion.
Yeah, that's a really curious hot take. I actually kind of like it. I think I'm with on this
Oh,
one.
really?
And the reason I say that, and I know we've covered like there are laws being put in place across the globe of pushing EVs, right?
So many
For
right
this
now.
dubbed clean energy, right? And I honestly think just a lot of people are kind of realizing that EVs are awesome, but it's not as it's not as it doesn't solve the problem as well as we thought it did. And I think people are kind of waking up to like, is it really clean energy? Is it really greener? And I think also the economic conditions, right, of high interest rates, everything's more expensive, so people are saving, they're not spending as much, and so they're not buying new cars. I think you're right in that aspect. I wouldn't be surprised though if we still see like a rebound of the economy and EV sales stay low until automakers get more efficient with building these, making them more affordable, and the infrastructure gets built out. And then also maybe like the process to build them is more efficient, and there's like a net positive in the green energy space. That's my opinion of it. I can honestly see like there being an actual EV crash. Like people just are like cold turkey. Like I don't, yeah, we've seen some cool EVs come out that are really awesome, but I just don't think that, across the market, EVs are sustainable. I think I think they did well this year because they had so many price cuts. And their tax benefits. And so it's like, well, that's kind of a no-brainer. Super cheap Tesla comparatively, and tax benefits. Like, if I'm going to get an EV, I'm going to get a Tesla. That just makes sense.
And they kind of
But
have the
I think
infrastructure to support what they're producing. I mean, they've got their superchargers, and so I think that helps out
Yeah,
big.
and the gigafactories, right?
Mhm.
You're talking about Tesla, right? They have the
Yeah,
infrastructure.
yeah,
Yeah, so they have it like on the consumer end, like your the superchargers, and then they also have it on the production end with the gigafactories, right? And like they're just able to produce really well. So I kind of think if anyone like Tesla's going to survive, if there is going to be an EV crash, like Tesla will survive. But like you said, like these American automakers, I just think they're so behind the curve, and I don't think they're producing as great of an EV as they thought they would. And I think a lot of people are kind of like, maybe the hype is starting to die down a little bit. That's my opinion. So I
yeah.
can see there being an EV crash.
I would agree. I think the hype for them is not as high as it was like during the pandemic, because during the pandemic, the hype with them was so high and people wanted them, and like the used market for EVs was just insane. There was a point where I would have been able to sell my Tesla for more than I paid for it during that, which is
That's crazy.
which is bananas.
That is wild. That's awesome.
Yeah,
But
I should have done it, but I didn't. Alas, I still have it. But yeah, it's I I think like I think the depending on Tesla's outlook, it will really determine how how EVs will be throughout how EVs will be in general within this country at least. Because um I mean they own about like 60% of the market share for EVs right now. They have the most. Um, if they are having any declines in sales or deliveries for their, then I would probably start to be worried about um, EVs in general.
yeah, yeah, that's true. But like, I mean, the government has bailed out American automobile makers before because they're pushing EVs so hard. I would not be surprised if they have to do it again due to the EVs not selling.
Yeah, I, that's a good point. I think that would be possible because there's just been a lot of push from this administration to go towards EVs.
Yeah. Speaking of Tesla, did you hear they are recalling another 1.6 million vehicles in China?
Oh, really? I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, like the title sounds really aggressive and like kind of crazy. 1.6 million vehicles in China, that's a lot. But in reality, it's like there's an autopilot crash risk, like, apparently, and they're solving it by just doing like a over air software patch.
Ah,
And so it's not like they're actually like pulling vehicles off the road. Um, but they're rolling out just a free software update to resolve the problem. But still, it's a lot of vehicles that have this potential risk of vehicle collision. In the article, I read two articles about this, and they both quote that there's risk of autopilot misuse. And
really?
I'm trying to figure out like what does that mean? Like people intentionally misusing it? I I'm trying to
Interesting.
figure out what that means. Like, are people trying to cause harm by misusing the autopilot, or I don't know.
I mean, I guess that, like, from my experience with it, the only way that you could misuse it would be um, blatantly not paying attention. But there's so many checks and balances within the car that um, you have to really try not to be able to. Um, and so, yeah, I kind of think with this article, it's overstating the actual like the problem or making it sound worse than it really is.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
this has happened before. Tesla's had to recall pretty much their entire fleet that was just fixed with a simple software update. It'd be like the news um, saying that Apple had to recall all of their devices with how many devices they ship worldwide. That could just simply be fixed by a software update.
Software update. Yeah.
Um, and it kind of seems to me, it makes me feel like the reporters for that are a little bit naive and don't understand what Tesla is. Because Tesla's more than just an automaker, they're a data company. I mean, that is like their core, they are a data company.
Yeah.
And then an
Yeah.
automaker second. I mean, it
Yeah.
shows with
They go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, it shows with like their interface within the car, and their build quality for the cars. Because I think their interface is one of the best, top tier. But when it comes to like build quality for the cars, it's still not up to what other automakers have been able to
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think, either the reporters and like it's consistently reported as like a recall, but I think it's either to get clicks or they just are classifying as a recall because they don't really understand Tesla's like true foundation. It is a data and technology company, and the way they collect data is through their vehicles and people's usage of the vehicles. And it's like how Google is a data company, but they collect the data through like internet usage.
Mhm.
And it's really interesting to see that how these companies are providing a product and consumers identify the product as like the value they get from the company without understanding that there's this underlying purpose, of why the company's providing you with that product. But yeah, it's really interesting. Definitely not like a true recall, right? These aren't being pulled off the road, and
Yeah.
um, so it caught my attention as it probably did with a lot of people, and interesting. How often do you think Tesla pushes out these updates? Is it pretty often or not
Yeah.
very often?
For vehicle, I mean, now that I have the full self-driving um software suite enabled on my vehicle, I don't get updates as much as I used to. It used to
Hmm.
be I would get at least an update once a month, um, sometimes less than that. Now that I have full self-driving, it usually takes them a little bit longer before they push a new update to full self-driving out to the fleet to users that have it. And so I would say for people that have full self-driving, it's probably maybe one every 2 months.
Hmm. Got it. That's not bad.
Yeah,
And does it do it?
last update I
Go
had
ahead.
was like right before Christmas. Usually they have their big holiday um, revamp of the UI and software suite.
I was coming out of the grocery store and a guy in a Tesla Model Y was parked next to me, and his kids were in the front seat playing like a racing game on the
Mhm.
screen. I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah,
I wish my car could do that.
yeah, it's actually kind of fun. Like especially if you're charging, you have to be there for a few minutes just to play a couple video games right there. Um, and you can watch movies on it. It's pretty sweet. Like you can get Hulu, Disney Plus, YouTube. You can even get TikTok. So if you really needed to scroll through some stuff while you're charging, you've got that option. But
That's wild. That's crazy.
and then I know
I
like
did-
with the Model S and X, since they have a um, bigger GPU in them, you can actually play AAA games on them. Like
Whoa,
you can get your Steam account on there and play games through Steam if your Tesla.
that is insane. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah. it's a lot of fun. And like now that we have a Rivian going into that, and I'm like, oh, I wish it had all of these features. That'd be cool to, play video games in the Rivian and all that fun jazz.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that'd be sweet.
But another thing that I saw with Tesla is that they've started making some improvements to their V4 supercharger. So this is something that they rolled out probably their newest V4 superchargers a few months ago. And now this is kind of like their answer to allowing other EVs to utilize their network. And one of the cool features that they have with these V4 superchargers, the cables are heavier. They have like this awesome way of cooling, so they can push out more power without getting too warm as they're charging. But Tesla's really started to look at how other EVs would interact with this, and they've added payment terminals, they've added longer cables, um, just to make access to their superchargers a little bit easier. And
Mm.
I think this is pretty cool. Um, it starts to get away from the range anxiety that people might have with EVs, and gives a little bit more access to road trips and where you can go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's like one of the reasons why we were talking about potential EV meltdown, right? Like a crash. Um, I think the range issue and just the ability to be flexible in your travel, it's a little bit more rigid. It's pretty rigid with the EV. You have to like plan out. If you're going on a long trip, you have to plan out a little bit more. Trips are tedious. You have to be a little bit more cognizant of like where you're going, how long you're going to be there, are there chargers accessible, charge time, etc. And I think that's like one of the pain points of EVs right now. But I think over time, Tesla's obviously the front runner here. The chargers are going to get better and better. It's going to be funny in like 5 years. We're going to look back and be like, man, remember when you had to wait like 20 minutes to charge your vehicle? Now you only have to wait like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, like you do at the gas pump. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It's,
Like we're gonna be laughing. Or you're telling our grandkids, like, yeah, we used to have to wait 20, 30 minutes just to fill up your battery. Like 20 minutes? I can't even wait 30 seconds, Grandpa. You know what I mean? Like, okay, just play your game on the car, you know?
yeah.
But
We might not even have
so
cars at that point.
that's true. That's true. Might not even have cars.
Yeah, so
Hopefully we figure out wormhole technology and can just transport places.
I know. I've always wanted to be able to travel at the speed of thought. You just think of something, you're there. That would be really cool.
That would be really, really cool.
Beat standing in line, um, get it on an airplane. That is just terrible.
Um, Speaking of which, being able to transport instantaneously, um, there might be a world where you can do that, Ethan.
Oh,
Have you
really?
have you heard that Ready Player One is being pushed to be real life?
Really? I have not heard
Yeah.
that.
So Ernest Cline, the author of the book, and the film's producer, one of the film's producer, Dan Farah, they're working with like an AI technology company to launch Ready Player One, like the
Really?
actual metaverse. Yeah, they're working
Interesting.
with a company. The company's called Futureverse,
Future.
and it's run out of New Zealand and Los Angeles.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
Yeah. So Klein like commented on it. He's pretty stoked about it. They're calling it the Readyverse.
Ready first.
Yeah. And they're hoping that it like actually is like Ready Player One, where you have like places to hang out, different games to play, different worlds you can go to. Like they're really hoping that's what it's like. We saw this like a little bit with Zuckerberg and Meta trying to do it, but like his version was very much just a video game chat lobby
Uh,
with like with your avatar. It's like that's Sims pretty much,
pretty
you
much
know.
The Sims. Yep.
But I think these guys are trying to take it to the next level where you're like VR headset, truly plugged in, like yeah. Um,
Oh, I like that.
they're hoping to get to a point where it's like possibilities are endless. So
Oh, that would be really cool. Like I, I've read that book and I've watched the movie, and I really enjoy um just like the story and kind of like the background of everything, how that all came to be. And I was thinking like this is this has to be the future of what things are going to move toward. And
yeah.
I was pretty excited like when Meta first announced their whole spiel of Meta. I was like, this could be really cool. And then experiencing it, I'm like, this is extremely disappointing. Nothing close.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I felt like the world was like getting super hyped up about Meta. They're like, yeah, you can have like an avatar and like you're in the metaverse, man. And I'm like, this kind of just feels like a normal like RPG video game. Like you have your
Yeah.
character, you can like go around and do stuff like an open world game. I don't know, but I'm hoping this is cool. Um, I don't know if I'll ever buy into VR until things can impact my senses. I think
Ooh.
that's when I'll buy into it. When technology gets so good that like my senses are influenced by what the VR is producing. I think that's when I'll like truly buy into it and be like, all right, I'm in this. I'm sold. Let's go to Disneyland today. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
That'd be pretty cool.
you need the full body suit and the omnidirectional treadmill.
Yeah, and maybe I need Neuralink to plug into my nervous system.
Ooh,
So
there you go.
I don't know if I'll actually ever do that, but
Yeah,
yeah, that's wild stuff.
that is wild. That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna get it.
What
I
if
haven't.
you could have?
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, no,
No,
you.
I
F
haven't.
you.
Yeah, I
You.
haven't really bought into the whole VR thing yet either. I mean, I've played a few things VR, but it hasn't really been like something that I've been pining for. Other stuff just hasn't grappled yet.
Yeah. Same. Same. Yeah. I'm hoping Apple's technology, like their AR VR headset, where it's like immersive and interacting with the world. I'm hoping that will be a step in the right direction. I think the best thing that we ever saw was like Google Glass, where you can still see people's eyes, but what you're seeing in Google Glass, you're seeing like heads up display
Mhm.
essentially, you know? And I'd love to get to a point where I'm just wearing glasses, and in these glasses, like on your end, you see me wearing glasses, but on my end, I'd love for me to like actually have the same technology as what Apple's headset is producing, you know, like where I can take something like an engine from a car and like artificial reality, like take it apart, you know,
Mhm.
like Tony Stark level
Yeah.
stuff, you know.
Have you
Um,
looked into Meta's Ray-Bans?
yeah, I've seen them, but I don't know like what they're I haven't seen like maybe I haven't looked at them too much, but I just know that they can like record and like upload and like play music, but I haven't seen do they like display on the glass and stuff?
I think so.
Let's see.
Let me,
I'm looking at it
maybe not.
because that would be sweet. Mm.
Seems to just be like an AI assistant built into your glasses that can um that it looks at what you see and then can kind of tell you what you're looking at if you're not sure.
That's kind of cool.
I mean,
I think
I
that's,
think it has some like really cool applications, like um if you were trying to diagnose like a plumbing problem, and you needed to get it right away, like you could ask that and it might, and theoretically it could help you diagnose a plumbing problem so you can do it on your own. Or like how to cook something, because it can see
yeah,
what you're doing and tell you exactly what to put in, so you could be the chef in the ratatouille.
got it. See, I think that's kind of like a step in the right direction. Um, I think we're getting there. I think we're getting there with technology. We're not quite there yet to where I'm like sold. I'm
Yeah,
not going to be an early adopter of this. I'm going to wait until it's like fully vetted and fleshed out, and and we have like top tier non beta. Like it's like multiple renditions and versions have come out, and it's like a solid technology.
yeah. Gen
So
2 is definitely better than, generally better than Gen 1
yeah,
technology.
that's the idea.
Well, speaking of technology, I guess GM has paused delivery of their Chevy Blazer EV, because their car um, software is not working as expected and preventing people from even driving the car.
Oh my gosh.
So GM decided to, rather than allowing like Android Auto or Apple CarPlay be on their infotainment system, they decided they're going to make their own software suite and have Android running natively on the car. Um,
Hmm.
However, um, GM's, I guess, needed to push an update to the car, and the car wasn't drivable until that update was made.
Oh
So it
man.
left some people stranded and unable to drive their car to where they could have internet connection to update their vehicle. And
Bro.
like when I read this, I'm thinking, why is GM trying so hard to suck? Like everything they are doing, it just seems like it has been terrible, and they just need to stop and really look at what consumers want and need and stop doing stupid things.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal. I can't imagine the frustration of like wanting to go and your car's just not working. I can't imagine that. I'd be so pissed.
Because like I don't know about you, but
Oh man.
looking at automakers, there's there are hardly any that I go into a car. I'm like, yeah, I want to have this car company make the software suite. Um, I would rather be able to connect my phone, which is like the heart of my technology center that has all of the apps that I use on a daily basis, just integrate with my car so my car can be like an extension of my phone instead.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Like I don't want to have to deal with another interface that's like not as beneficial or as user friendly as what my phone is. You know,
Yeah.
and not only that, but like it causes more issues and more problems, and like we're getting this result from it, and it's probably not, you know, like economically better. It's probably as much or more money to produce your own software. I just I don't get it. That doesn't really make any sense to me. Um, yeah, wild stuff, dude. That sucks.
Yeah. So I guess don't buy a Chevy Blazer EV. You should be okay.
Yeah, it's good to know. I'm looking at them right now. They don't even look that good.
I mean,
Ugh.
they look pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of interesting to see like the evolution of what the Chevy Blazer was. I mean, it used to be just a um, single cab truck that was just like this um, neat little thing to drive around town, and now it's kind of turned into um, this SUV.
Yeah, mid-size SUV. The
Mhm.
exterior does look good. The interior, I'm not a fan of. You can only buy like this bright red interior or this like white gray interior with orange trim.
Yeah,
Why? Why can't I have like a gray interior or a black interior? I'm blown away by that.
yeah,
Oh man,
just terrible.
that's weird. Weird, weird. Yeah. Dude, that's crazy. Well, speaking of terrible, Apple, did you hear about Apple's ban? Apple had a watch ban. They couldn't
Oh,
sell
on
their
their
watch.
yeah, on their
You heard about
ultras.
this?
Yes.
Yeah. So actually, it's both. It's both. Their Series 9 and their Ultra 2s.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know about this. I didn't know about this, but yeah, it's like they so initially they were banned to sell in December, and they stopped selling them online, and then they took them off the shelves like like December 20, like right before Christmas, like December 20th or 22nd or something like that. And they stopped selling them because there was like a patent issue um
Yeah, they were stealing
where
somebody else's technology for their blood
yeah,
sensor.
yeah, it's the oxygen
Oxygen.
monitor.
Yeah.
And they were stealing it from, let's see here. What is the name of the company? Um, I'm blanking on it right now. It starts with an M, but anyway, yeah, they were like, there's a court case going where they're trying to press Apple to stop selling it because of the that oxygen meter. Um, and yeah, it's kind of crazy. Um, it just was really interesting to me. Oh, but the update like now is the court case has been pushed. It's delayed. The At least the ban to sell the watches has been pushed until the actual court date. And so Apple's back to selling now. And so they're back on the market and they can sell them, but still it's like the holiday season, the peak season for selling your newest products,
And you
you have a
can't.
ban and you can't sell them. Like that's pretty brutal.
Yeah, that's
Um,
crazy. I mean, crazy that they're kind of
Pretty
like
wild.
involved in this too. And it's going to be interesting to see if like if Apple really did steal this, um if this other company is going to be able to have the capital to fight it.
Yeah.
Because I remember like learning about um a lot of like major companies during my intellectual property classes during law school, and you would have um independent people or startups um, create this wonderful technology. They would go to get it patented, and then big companies would learn of that and say, "Hey, we want to buy this patent from you, and we want to own it. We'll give you a sum of money." And then you would frequently have these startups like, "No, we've built this, and we want to run with it." And rather than rather than just stopping at that point, these companies would steal the patent and run with it themselves. And then these independent startups wouldn't have the capital to fight it, to be able to beat it in some type of litigation. So it's going to be interesting to see if Apple did the same thing, or if they um, it was really an accident.
Yeah, yeah. So that's really interesting point you make. So I found the article I was reading. The company that is going after Apple is called Massimo, or Massimo. I don't know how you pronounce it. But one of the reasons why they're pursuing this Apple Watch fight is because in 2016 they actually won a lawsuit against another company, and they got a $300 million payout from that. It was against Philips.
Oh wow!
The deal, it says a deal that ended up generating more than $1 billion for the company. Um, and before that, they had another lawsuit they won, that they won nearly $800 million in damages
Oh
and
wow!
royalties from Nelcor. So they have a couple of fights that they've, like a couple of legal battles they've won, and they've gotten a pretty solid payout.
So they may
So
have
they've got
something
this
here.
money, and they're like, "Hey, I think we could go after Apple and take them on."
That's pretty bold, though, going after Apple.
Yeah, they're. I mean, like of all the companies to take on, you're going to take on the company that has like the most cash on hand in the
Mhm.
world. Like they're stacked. They're ready to go for any legal battle at any time,
At any time.
and they can pay for the best of the best lawyers. You
Yeah,
know?
and they have the best lawyers working for them too. So yeah, interesting. So
Yep.
that'll be interesting to see how that turns out. And it'll be kind of exciting if they get a judgment against Apple.
Yeah. Yeah. So get your Apple Watch while you can.
Yeah, get it while you can, um, because Apple may have to be paying royalties on those for every unit
Yeah,
sold. That would be
that's
crazy.
right. That's right. Pretty crazy. You got anything else, Ethan?
The last thing that I have for tonight is something that is crazy that we've kind of talked a little bit about, but the Cybertruck is now out in the wild. Tesla is finally delivering on their 4 year 4 year old promised Cybertruck. Seen a couple of reviews on that on them on the YouTube, and um, reviews for them have been highly favorable. People seem to like it.
Really?
They've got some um, neat technology in them that's uh, different from any other car. They have what's called like the steer by wire system,
Hmm.
um, which is something that I had never heard of until the Cybertruck came out. But yeah, essentially, what would normally take like um, multiple turns of your steering wheel to be able to move, or you can just turn by like millimeters or inches of the steering wheel and get the same effect. So um,
Interesting.
for how big it is, being a half-ton class truck, it's one of the most nimble trucks that you can get into places that you wouldn't expect to get a half-ton truck. So I guess the question is, are you going to be getting a Cyber?
Oh no, I might. Depends on the price. I'm definitely in the market for a half-ton truck. I just sold my small mid-sized truck, small truck. So I'm in the market, but probably not a Cybertruck. I personally can't get over how they look. I do not like their look. I know a lot of people do like the look. I do not like the look.
It is very aesthetically jarring. It,
That's a very good way of putting it. It is very aesthetically jarring. Yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. Not for me. The features, maybe I can get past the look when I take a look at the features and stuff. But yeah,
yeah, it's a little
not
weird.
for me.
A little weird to me. I don't.
I'm on the page right now. I'm on the Tesla page right now looking at it.
Yeah, you got to go for the Cyber Beast.
I know, I see that. The Cyber Beast. What's the difference here? Oh, delivery in 2024. All right, same year.
Yeah. So
320 range, 130 top speed, 845 horsepower. Oh yeah, I better get that. That has the larger towing capacity.
I think you can get up to 11,000
100K.
pounds. Yep.
All they need right now is $250.
Yep. And then it's yours.
Wow. And it's mine.
Yeah,
Only 100K.
I had a pre-order for the Cybertruck back in the day when they announced it, but then I canceled it because it was just taking too long.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh man. I'm looking at the Model Y. People are playing like Stardew Valley on it, video games.
hmm
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I will get an EV. Who knows?
I
I
think they're
guess
a lot of fun.
yeah,
They're a lot of fun. Um, I mean, I didn't get mine to save the environment. I care less, but um, they're just fun vehicles to drive. And it
yeah,
and, and and I guess as like bougie as it is, it's it's refreshing to when you have to go somewhere to have something that you like driving. It makes going somewhere not such a bore. It's not boorish.
yeah. That's fair. That's good. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe I'll get one. Maybe I'll get one.
yeah. Of all the EVs that I've driven quite a few. Um, Probably I say like the best would be either a Tesla or a Rivian.
Really?
Yeah, Rivian's um, a little bit on the fence of whether the company can be viable or not in the future, but they're kind of in the same place that Tesla was a few years ago, so not not as worried.
Hmm.
But that's something that people have asked, like um, when they find out that we got a Rivian, they're like, "Are you worried about the company being viable?" I was worried as I was when we got our Tesla. So
Yeah. Yeah, the whole walk back on their price increase, that was
yeah,
a little hairy.
that was a little sketchy. And like now that we have the vehicle, I understand why they are asking so much for the vehicle
Yeah.
because I do think that what you get with it, the value is worth their increased price. But now with Tesla's lowering even their higher end models to be less than what a Rivian is, it that's a harder sell. Rivian is now a bit of a harder sell. My,
Yeah.
Because like you can get a top tier Model X for if you were to go for the plaid version, let's see what that is. Uh, you could get it for 95,000, which is just about as much as an R1X.
Yeah, that's true. Sub 100. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it's that's tough for Rivian. That's really tough for Rivian because they're putting such a premium on their vehicles when in reality it's like how much better is it than Tesla's top tier model, you know?
Yeah,
So they do have a different, I mean, they have the truck. They have the
yeah,
truck that's kind of a differentiator. I mean, obviously there's the Cybertruck, but the Cybertruck is so unique that I just feel like that's just a whole different ball game, you know?
yeah. It's kind of in a
Like
different
the Rivian
class.
truck is like, yeah, I agree. It's a different class. That's like if you want to be very unique and just kind of, one of a kind, you get the Cybertruck. But if you want like an EV truck, you go with the Ford Lightning or you go with the Rivian. Those are like
Mhm.
your options, you
Yeah,
know?
because I mean, like I feel like the Cybertruck is catering to people that have never owned a truck in their life, but like the
Yeah.
fact of having an EV, and could live with having a truck, like
Yep.
trying to break into a new segment of consumer.
I agree. Yeah, trying to break in a new segment. I agree.
But yeah, they're a lot of fun to drive. Um, I'd recommend them, but I'm a little biased. I'm really into tech stuff, so
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Maybe I'll get
quite the
one. We'll see.
enthusiast. Yeah, that's all I have for tonight. Do you have anything
Same.
else? Any hot takes to leave us with?
Any hot takes? Any hot takes? I don't really have any hot takes. Mm, I don't really have any hot takes. Trying to think of like what's a hot take that's like been on my mind. Mm, yeah, nothing really that comes to mind. I like your hot take about the EV collapse. That was pretty interesting.
Oh, last one.
Oh,
Oh, go ahead.
no, go for it. Go for it.
Um, Last hot take that I have, um, Call of Duty might be a good game next year. Now that the
Oh,
former,
yeah, because of the combination of the developers.
well, that and the former CEO of Activision is gone. His last day was the 29th of December,
Oh,
and
no way.
now Microsoft is in total control.
Yeah, and they're combining developers, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Um,
I believe they are. So there's going to be some.
it's
Uh,
like it's like Treyarch and Sledgehammer together, I thought. Let's see. Next Call of Duty. I swear I saw an article on this. Oh, maybe it's just Treyarch by themselves. The Treyarch is the one that puts out Black Ops.
yeah, they're the ones. In my opinion, they put out the most entertaining ones that I've had the most fun.
I agree. I really like the Treyarch games. I
It's
really
like
like them. They've been good.
I think like every Black Ops iteration was great in its own way.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. I always thought it
I
was so weird how like they would rotate developers. I always thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I
You
thought
don't
it
really
was
see
too.
that with anyone else.
Yeah, I don't see it much, but I mean, kind of makes sense. It takes quite a bit of time to develop a AAA game, so having a 3 year
Yeah.
3-year cycle is good. And then plus, like after it's released, you still have to have support for it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So they want to pump it out every year. They have to rotate. You
Mhm.
know, makes sense.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited to see what the future of Call of Duty has. And then hopefully it'll just be on Game Pass, so I don't have to spend $100 for Call of Duty every year.
Yeah, that would be really nice having the Game Pass. That'll like, in my opinion, that'll make Game Pass worth it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
So
I have it, but I don't play much on it. I mean, there's Gears of War, there's Halo, both great games, but
great,
uh,
great
our,
games.
our group of friends doesn't really gravitate toward Gears of War as much.
Yeah, no one really does Gears of War. About half the guys do Halo,
Mm-hmm.
if that.
Get that?
Yeah, that's how it goes.
I mean, we did Halo when Vanguard came out because that was terrible. Yeah,
Vanguard was trash. I literally forgot about that game. Literally forgot about that game. It's such a waste of money, dude. I feel so bad just wasting money on that thing. It's like,
Mhm. Yeah,
gosh,
I buy
so
them every
dumb.
year, and then like half of them I don't play. It's sad.
Yeah, it is really sad. Plus, like time wise, it's like I don't have the most time to play anymore.
Yeah,
So
family and work kind of take up all that extra time. We just got to stop working.
yeah, let's do that. Let's
Okay,
just retire.
I like that.
Yeah,
It's,
sounds great.
it's on my 5-year plan.
Dope.
So, well, sweet. Well, uh, this has been a fun episode. So,
This is good.
all right. Well, thanks everyone for sticking with us to the end. Um, give us a thumbs up if you liked it. If not, that other button seems to work all right too. Um, make sure you ring-a-ling that ding-a-ling button so you never miss out on any content that comes to the channel. So until next time, stay classy and we'll catch you in the next one.
Peace.